Well, you can hear me now, ladies and gentlemen. What a round of rugby league that was. Women in league, baby. And everybody played for the women in league. It was great. It was amazing.
Except for Tigers.
It was, in my opinion,
the best round
ladies
ever.
and gentlemen, probably the best round of footy of all time.
No.
The comebacks, the upsets, the seesaw affairs.
When did you become a casual?
The quit job.
When did you become a casual?
Mate, I'm a punter at heart.
No, but you sound like one of the casuals that watch rugby league.
So let me have this moment. What would you rather? Just seeing, the favourite, like they were minus
No.
12, they won by
Okay,
14.
it's got to stop at some point. All right, Titans came back. You know it's nights. Anything's possible. All right, South won. Okay.
Well, okay.
Sure.
All right. We'll talk about the line in the sand moment where we realised the round is going to be a bit goofy. But as far as
From dogs going forward.
all right, we'll talk about in terms of we had
Nights.
the crackdown 2 weeks ago, which the product on display was a piece of dirt. We had an incremental improvement in Magic Round where there was a bit of magic in the air and the games were tight and everything.
The games
was
were good in Magic Round.
The games were good in Magic Round, and I feel like this round said, hold my beer to Magic Round. And fuck me, like some of these results, the games, the footy, individual performances, comebacks, upsets, covering, unders, overs, we had it all, baby. So I'm hyped.
You're
to be
much
in the
more
building
hyped
with
than I
you.
am. I'm just like...
But you don't seem as hyped as me,
No,
mate.
I'm just... Mate, the sport is getting ridiculous. Honestly, it's ridiculous. At some point, like... You know why? You know why I'm not so happy as you are? Okay, it's gone our way.
You don't hate Jason Riles as
No. We've gone 5-3 this round, which is not that great, right? It's good. Like, we're still profitable. But I know this round easily could have been 2-6.
Yes.
And what's going to happen is, in round 17, 18, it will be 2-6.
Yeah, I know that.
And
So let me fucking enjoy it while I can. Because I know, like, okay, the old Back Yourself podcast results, Titans would have given up.
yeah. Dogs would have
given up, and Cowboys would have won outright.
Well, no. Truly, if Dogs gave up, I would have been excited for the podcast, to be honest.
I know.
I would have
understand it.
destroyed them.
But what I'm saying is,
now I get to destroy Raiders.
what infuriates you and I about these sort of like garbage underdogs coming back down 50 and winning outright is it never happens in our favor.
But it did.
But, you know, to see Titans and Dogs pull it off, it was good.
I figured why I'm not hyped. Because Warriors and Cowboys both didn't lose. And the weeks they lose, I'm happy.
Well, Cowboys didn't win either.
Yeah,
so
but
you can sprinkle that in there. It was like watching a game of soccer.
Yeah,
anyway, I'm hyped. You're not as hyped.
I
So
feel like
I think
first
you
game
should
we're
you
gonna
should
be
give me Thursday night football.
No,
because
that was comical.
the thriller in Manila.
Thriller.
It wasn't a thriller. It was a fucking just
Train wreck
a
of two
snooze fest,
idiots.
a train wreck of two rats, essentially. And the bigger rat came out with the loss next to their name. I believe after this round, it's indisputable that we have found the worst team in the NRL. And I really hope you don't push back after what you saw on Thursday night.
No.
They're
not.
despicable.
No.
Fuck.
The next team. How can you not put their blood?
This is my game. All right?
Pinnacle of last.
You can have the Titans one. This is my game. Dolphins, Eels. For those loyal pod followers that came on the preview and listened to me ramble about, neither team can defend and overs, I reckon is the play.
Neither team can score.
I will say thank fuck that the books put Dolphins at the price they put them. Because it kind of, I was like, well, you can't put Paradol 70. So I'll take Dolphins at $2.15, which was the best bet. We start off with a winner on Thursday night, which always feels good. No one likes chasing their losses going into Friday night. So that was fantastic.
It seems like you have to be $2.20 to win.
I would say truly, this was, irrespective of the rest of the round, one of the worst games of footy I've ever seen in my life.
It was funny.
Humor aside, the product was god-awful.
Yeah, I agree.
Dolphins, essentially in my recollection of that first half, Dolphins completed 98%. And that's why they went down 50-0. And Para
Can't score.
won the penalty count 8-1. And that's why they went down 50-0. And it was just like, all right, Para will drop it, give the ball to Dolphins. They'll complete it and not do anything besides make 25 meters and kick it. Give it back to Para. Give Para a call. Invite Para onto their 10-meter line. Para will drop it. And then Dolphins will just rinse and repeat for fucking 1 hour. It was awful.
It was a shit game. But I think this is like the start of something new. Dolphins are the new Knights. Now they think they can score.
No, they don't. That's why, like...
No. They haven't, because the last couple of weeks they've lost. So now they've won. Now they think they can score. They're going to go win again. Whoever they play. And I know who they're playing.
No.
It's already upset alert because I've had enough of these bum teams.
There's no redeemable quality for Dolphins. Don't get it twisted.
I'm backing them.
Don't get it twisted that these cunts ended up with a win. They are fucking horrible.
You know what? I'm going to dispute you on that. Because Dolphins should have really lost this game. They're atrocious. But on top of that, these atrocious teams, losing the penalty count 8-1 doesn't help anyone. And if you're a shit side and you lose the penalty count 8-1, you end up like Tigers.
No, these cunts just lucked their way into a 99% completion rate.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. I swear to God, any other team in maybe even the Super League would have beat Dolphins. That's where I rank Eels off. If you cunts can't win that, like, okay... You name me the game where the first half's penalty count was like 5-1 or 6-1.
And tell me the
that
score.
wasn't 24-0 at halftime or 20-0 or 18-0.
Well,
why the fuck are Para tied at halftime with an 8-1 penalty count?
Listen.
With Moses.
Para shit.
Para are not... Shit is not manure.
But they will not come last.
They are fucking disgraceful.
They will not come last. I believe in Riles. I already know who's coming last. Pencil him in. It's done.
They need to fire Riles tonight.
I'm penciling him in. I'm telling you. This last team is coming up.
Unfortunately, I don't write notes throughout the games. I go based off what I was thinking at the time, and I stick with that the most. There was a patch in the second half where, all right, the theme of the round was whoever comes out and fucking scores in 2 seconds in the second half, the other team gives up, right? We saw it in Souths. We saw it in fucking Raiders.
Sharks even.
We saw it even in Warriors, right? But Dragons, I'll get to you pricks.
Pause there for us. I saw him today. Wow.
When Dury put it down under the black dot, I was like, all right, Dolphins have given up.
Yeah, but they...
And then Paris scored again, and I was like, fuck, they really have given up. But for Dolphins to get to a point where they're... Oh, the Avarillo try.
Yeah.
No. The Herbie try.
Yeah. No. I was going to get to that, right?
Fuck me.
Look, all right? Dolphins...
Only Para would concede
Only Para would concede it. I agree. And it doesn't matter if Moses is there or not if they're going to do this despicable
that's
shit,
what I'm
right?
saying.
But the
Where's
thing
Riles?
is... Riles is his own entity. But, okay, first of all, Sean Russell won't be there next week. Fingers crossed while Max plays.
Thank God.
So the backline looks a lot better. And I still think Moses deserves the Blues jersey, regardless of how bad this fucking team is.
I respect that.
But it's just... Dolphins should be better.
I know.
But what in my mind was, for them to lose the penalty count 8-1 and still win this game, doesn't redeem to me, okay, Dolphins should win this game 13+. There's no team in my mind, maybe not Melbourne because they're just fucked, but everyone else, if you lose the penalty count that much to Para, I don't think any other team would beat this team 13+.
I knew coming onto the podcast that...
Para get calls.
This would be our point of... We go our separate ways with the analysis on the game. You're looking at it of, you know what, Dolphins lost the penalty count 7-1 and they won. At least they did that. I'm looking at it like, Para, how bad are you cunts?
No, I agree. Para are so bad to do that. But Dolphins are touted to be a top 8 side.
Which I don't think they are. If Dolphins had 3 try-savers, scrambling defense, and held Para out that way, I would be like... Oh, at least they bit down on the mouth guard. But literally, it was Para get down there and just drop it for no reason.
Yeah, no.
Set after set after set after set.
You're more saying how bad Para are doesn't mean Dolphins are any better.
Yeah.
I'm saying, okay, Para are atrocious, but I don't think... Look, if Dolphins won this game 13+, I think I'd go, all right, Para, you cunts are something new. Right? I don't think any team in the league could do that. And Dolphins would get some credit and be like, all right, you lost the penalty count 8-2 and you cunts still won 13+. Yeah. That's fucked.
That's hard,
I think because it was close and the way Para lost with Brown... Look, I think even if he played it and they went again, they probably don't score. As we saw the whole game, they weren't able to score, so they probably won't score anyway. But again,
you're talking about Hammer's try.
Hammer, what a fucking tackle. So,
no, that's only a handful of players in the league make a play like that.
What a tackle.
So that's where having talent gets you.
But it's just it's just these cunts lose it in 2 seconds. That Herbie try should never be a try.
Yeah.
And even that, like, Alangi, I've defended you the whole year. What the fuck?
And this
Herbie's not that fast.
And this is what I'm saying. I'm not sure Dolphins get away with that against many.
No,
other
they
teams.
won't. But you know what the thing is with
It's
you?
wild.
No, it's not right. Not Parasite. The Dolphins, you didn't see them play those 3 weeks that you weren't here. They were really fucked. And, like, their offense wasn't that. It was structured and it worked well. And I was like, who the fuck are these cunts playing? But then you get weeks like this when you're back and you're like, well, Dolphins suck. Why is Chris saying they're actually good? Because they actually are.
Obviously, Chris, I always respect your opinion. And in some cases, a la 2 p.m. today, I will even defer to you at times. But from what I've seen,
They're really bad.
from Dolphins that have come back, they're the same retards that were down.
Well, they have Wolf.
That were, what, 0-3
On 4.
before I left? 0-4 or something?
And they went 3 straight, lost 2,
That's
and now
why
they're back.
I can't comprehend, like, even that second half of the Raiders game last week where they lost by 500, they're playing the same way in that first half against Para, but Para's just too shit to actually lead.
It's all right, man. You're going to have to defer to me on this team next week as well because they play my arch nemesis and there's no way I'm backing the
Well, I'll
other
go
team.
into war with you, mate,
Yeah.
but as far as Para, like...
All right, can we get to the greatest game
let's
ever?
get to one of the few of the
No,
greatest games
this
of the
is
round.
the greatest game.
The
No matter
Knights-
what happened.
The Knights began the tumultuous fucking capitulation-themed round by going up 20 and then giving up the Titans. The floor is yours, my friend. One of the candidates for upset alert, I'd say.
Yeah, it was.
You
it
couldn't
was.
have really gone
Well,
wrong.
how could I have gone wrong this round? It was
Outside
7-0.
of being like,
Oh, yeah,
better than
Tigers gotta
taking
win.
Tigers, you literally like.
All Dragons.
Well, if you gave him out the hefty line of 1.5, you would have covered, right?
Look, let's start with Knights. No. Actually, I'm going to start with Titans because they won. I don't think there's a worse team in the competition than Titans. You agree?
No.
Okay. But what's the beauty about Titans is, at least, and we've said this for weeks, at least they could score. This league is full of cunts that just hold possession for 4 hours, i.e. Knights, i.e. Para, and don't score the ball. And at least Titans get a chance and they put the ball over the line. Knights, you guys are firm in my mind as last place, in my opinion. It's done. I actually don't think they win.
You literally just said Titans are the worst team.
No. But Titans can score. Knights, in periods, they can't score. And Knights, they give it to the other team. They gave it to Titans. There was just a stupid amount of errors that second half. I don't know what Adam O'Brien said. He was basically going to throw himself through the window to tell you cunts to fucking wake up because you guys were asleep. Marju was ruled out with a hamstring at the end of that game. He's gone. You have Kalen for one more week because Walsh is still not back, and obviously KP is going to get selected for Origin. So I can't imagine you cunts playing without Kalen. Oh my God, Knights. Oh my God.
I want to see Nagai at fullback.
It's unbelievable. No, Sharp, surely. And they bring back Gamble.
Hastings.
So, look, Knights...
Oh, wow, they're going to run out the spine that can't score.
Yeah. So, look, Knights in my mind, at this moment in time, the fact they lost this game as well, it's just put the dagger that, even with KP, even that you guys had hope against the South Side who had no one, and no one thought you would win for whatever reason. I
can see why now.
Yeah, I can see why. But it's just that whole thing, the momentum of you guys thinking you're able to score was just demolished in that second half. And when you went up 20-0 and then you conceded a try, I'm like, well, Titans are frisky. You never know. They scored again. They scored again. I was like, holy fuck, Knights. Even the last 5 minutes, I was like, Titans, they can score from anywhere. It doesn't matter where the ball is. It doesn't matter how many times pin it on their own line. Titans can go score from their own 10-meter line. And Knights, in my mind, and I'm going to say this later in the podcast, I've fucking pinned them. There's no movement for these cunts until they prove something to me. Knights are pinned to get the spoon. They are atrocious. And it's only a matter of time before this second-rated defense who capitulated to fucking AJ Brimson is going to start just giving up. And Adam O'Brien will be gone. It's just a matter of time at this point. You got that South win. It was paper over the cracks because you played South of all cunts, which we'll get to them next. And then the cracks just fucking split into a 4-meter gap. You guys are fucked. Knights are last.
You know what I just realised? Knights have given Titans 2 wins.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Well, the first one was worse.
How many wins do Knights have now?
3.
How many wins do Titans have?
3. And Knights have 2, gave it 2 wins.
All right, Knights, this has been your season.
Knights suck.
Listen, You're gonna enjoy this, right? Take a back seat, just chill. Right. I got it for 2 minutes. Because Knights, like, it's bigger than round 10 with you cunts, because you started off, you couldn't score against Tigers. You won by 2.
You beat Dolphins, which is no achievement.
You beat Dolphins, and at this point, this is when the whole fucking rugby league community were coming for us.
Saying how good they're...
Oh, bro, I'm keeping receipts. You had Knights at fucking 14. Which flatters them in hindsight. Like, you're disrespecting our team. Where's our respect? We're first. There's always that dick that's first after round 2 that everyone thinks are good. In between beating Tigers and Dolphins,
I don't know how many points.
Getting a win against Souths with literally nothing.
Yeah.
You cunts have had 2 straight months of poo.
Poo's understatement.
Rubbish, trash, garbage, week after week after week after week after week after week. You can't go out and you can't score. And this is like an interesting way for Knights to have lost. Because normally you wouldn't see them go up 20-0 like this. And when you would... We're coming on religiously being like, you know what, Knights defensively are actually pretty decent. Why I look at the Para game and this game a bit differently was Para got 100 calls, but they were tied. They couldn't take advantage of it. Knights got 100 calls, right? So in my eyes, and this is like a couple of weeks in a row for Titans now where they start the game off...
Just give up.
They actually have like a fucking bit of a tendency of doing this. The Belmore game this week, last week, they start the game off and it's just like high tackle, 6 again, sin bin, 6 again. And Belinda Sharp, fuck me, she was on a rampage to make sure Knights covered that first 20 minutes. Tino's head clash, in my opinion, was a head clash, and she put him on report. There was a really soft head-high tackle that wasn't even high, which I feel like Knights took the 2 there where I was like... Same old fucking Knights.
Well, I'll get to the 2. It gets worse with these guys.
And there was a couple like soft one-on-one misses. Obviously, it's hard to contain Bradman and Sharp and Ponga like on the try line. Even though Knights get in their own way of... If they just like ran the shape of Sharp to Ponga to Best every time,
they'll
like
score.
That would be better than Crossland to fucking... I don't know.
Adam
Elliott.
Their short balls in the middle is just awful.
Again, Titans like... sheer weight of possession and that many calls, you actually, considering the round, could have done worse than 20-0, in my opinion.
Yeah.
If like we got true peak quitting Titans, that would have been like 32-0.
Yeah, the fact
that it was 20-0 with 10 to go, and the way Titans were like throwing the footy around showed me that they were still desperate to get some points on the board. And how many times have we seen a team go out by a big lead? The other retarded opposition
6 times this
scores right before halftime, and it's like,
here we go.
Our 20-6 lead feels like it's fucking 12.
Well, you don't even need to score all of a sudden anymore.
Which this is why I would have built the whole round in this case, where as soon as Titans scored that backyard footy try to make it 26, I was like, 6.5. I feel pretty good. Like I genuinely think Titans can outscore them in the second half by like 2 tries, but.
Expect them to win?
Did I see them winning from there? No. And why I would say that is as good as the Titans attack can be when they get so much weight of possession, I truly expected them to at least concede 1 or 2 tries in that second half. And that's where I'm like, this is the same old fucking Knights. All right, sure, you gave...
Nothing's changed.
Week after week, we come on and we're like, all right, doesn't matter if they're playing Melbourne or Tigers or fucking Rabbitohs. Titans, just give them 20 points. What can the opposition do? And at 20-0, people would be like, oh, Titans can't score, like whatever. Yeah. But me and you know at some point they're going to get 20. And for Knights to get to 20-0 and then you spray paint their score on, I was like, they're going to find a way to lose, aren't they? And they lost. So I'm convinced there's no way you can put Knights $1.40 ever again.
I don't think you can put Knights favourite ever again.
Well, they're playing Para this week and they're favourites.
Oh my God.
Which I think is justified. But guess what the line is against Para?
It's like 2.5, isn't it?
So you're going to put them 6.5 to Titans and then put them 2 to Para. After Para lost to Dolphins.
Yeah, I'll take Para. Knights are finished. It's just a matter of time with these cunts.
It's bad. It's bad in Newcastle.
It's really a matter of time. Like, it literally, I don't think Adam O'Brien's going to get anything out of him.
I don't have much more to say about
I don't have much to say about Riles either, but...
I got a lot to say about
Riles. At least they have Moses.
I think, it's kind of... We know, where the ninth season's going to end up now. It's just going to spiral.
15th, 16th, or 17th. Yeah. That's it.
On the other end, Is this a galvanizing win that Titans can start a three-peat
No,
on?
it's just Titans. It's like we watched this last year when we started taking them, and everyone's like, "Why the fuck are you taking Titans at this price? This shit out." At some point, they fucking turn it
They
around
wake up,
every
yeah.
year,
Yeah.
and
That's what I'm saying. Is this the point?
Yeah,
where
it
they're
could
like,
be.
We're actually not that bad.
who do they play next?
Some morons.
They don't play. No, they play someone good. I think. Check it quickly.
Yeah.
I forget. They play someone good. I swear.
I
Manly.
I feel like if they lost 20-18, they would fucking give up on the year.
Yeah, but it's Titans. They have to win one of these
The
stupid
fact
games.
that they actually came back all the way and won, now they think they're good again.
Raiders and Titans.
They're dead.
Yeah.
No, actually, maybe not. Raiders. We don't know what we're gonna get out of them. But yeah, it could be. I just think Knights are absolutely in the bin. This next game is going to basically tell us who's going to come last. I didn't realize it was Knights and Para. That would be who's coming
could be the
last.
spoon
Like
ball, yeah.
I think that's it. It's one of those two.
Yeah. Anyway, good win for the Titans. The fashion they won really if there isn't a springboard for you cunts to wake up this year, that was it. And Knights, if there was a springboard into quitting, into oblivion, that was it.
It's happened now.
Boys. That was really bad. But in my opinion, that wasn't even the worst loss of Friday night. Because
I don't
the
think
following
it was,
fixture.
There's so many. I think this one's the worst because it's South. But that's the only opinion.
I feel like the people want to hear from you, mate, because you came on in the preview and blew up at Broncos, calling them arrogant, entitled, same old Broncos. Kevy wasn't the problem. You can't be giving up on Madge.
Yeah, no.
And you know what? At 14-0, people could have looked at you and been like, Chris.
A lot of people looked at me throughout the round, even through my upset alert. So, all right.
How bad is it in
die.
Brisbane?
The cunts are going to die. Literally. Brisbane fans, warning, disclaimer. Your club is a fucking mess at this point. If you went on and win this game, it would have proved me nothing. If you cunts win and lose, it actually proves me so right. First of all, like I said, and all the news that's come out with Ezra, if you didn't play because it's women in league round, truly you're the biggest bitch in the world, in my opinion. I don't give a fuck. You served your suspension. The NRL gave you a suspension of 10 games, not 11. You play. And how many times, and many people said it, oh, this person came back from suspension straight into the team. This person came back. Ezra's the only fucking one that wanted to play New South Wales Cup. Anyway, if it was a thing from the league, Madge, a lot of arrogancy from you that you say to the media, and this is why, now I'm taking a back seat on Madge. He goes out in the media and says everything's okay. He's like that guy that's like, oh yeah, everything's okay. The markets have fallen 10%, but everything's fine here at Brisbane. I'm making sure Ezra earns his spot in the team, earns his spot in this fucking rubbish club. In my opinion, this game proved to me they won't make the 8. It's the same garbage. It's the same team. There's nothing changed. And yes, you went up 14-0, but even at 14-0, it was like, well, they're actually playing awful. Why are they up 14-0 in the first place? South, it's South being South. That's the only reason.
I'm not sure I agree with that.
I thought they were atrocious. And they were up 14-0 because I was like, oh, well, look, South have really done nothing much. South don't really have a lot of injuries. They're going to win this game anyway. Whatever. They're going to run away with it, most likely. After what I just watched from Titans, I was like, South don't have it in them to come back. They don't have it. So I thought if South are going to have a crack in this game, they would need to lead 12. Broncos come back and then South do it. Not the other way around. So I was like, all right, this game's done. But watching it, I was like, oh, Brisbane's not playing any better than they fucking were round 1. And what's fascinating is the whole club thinks it's all good. There's no sense of urgency. The players don't give a fuck. It's like no one in the reports is like, all right, we need Walsh. Where's Walsh? Oh yeah, Walsh will be back whenever. Give him a few weeks. We get Ezra next week. We get Ezra back. But we lost Ben Hunt. Yeah, he's hamstring for a 35-year-old. We've seen that in the fucking playoffs in the NBA for this quick sidetrack. And one of the greatest shooters in the sport is like, fuck, I've never had this injury in my life. Coming back from that is going to be fucked. It's not going to be any easier for Ben Hunt. And now you bring Ezra, and he's just going to plug himself straight into that team. He's got all goods now. He's earned his spot. Yep. No, he hasn't. What the fuck's going on at this club? Literally, I've got him outside my 8 right now. That was atrocious. To lose to South is I it's unexplainable. It's honestly worse than losing the Titans. It was the worst loss of the round. So at that point, it was the worst loss of the round. But then fucking
3 p.m.
the next game, which we'll get to Raiders. I'm sorry, Charles Croom, but you fucking dead. That team's dead to me as well. Even though I back Dogs, but it's just the way you cunts lost. This team's third. Unbelievable. I despise Broncos. Like I actually have hatred for them. Like the whole club with that much talent, just let them go. Tigers will happily take Katoni Stags. You cunts can fucking keep the rest.
Yeah, I don't think
it's actually incredible.
I don't think Tigers deserve anyone. After
Tigers don't deserve anyone. But like what I'm saying is, like, why the fuck are they there?
Yeah,
what's the point of
and
just fuck it up?
every
Miss eight every year. It's incredible.
I disagree with you on the first half.
Yeah,
I feel like
you think they're gone.
The way they came out, the intent, the way they were playing, relentless in the middle of the park, going up 14-0. The execution wasn't there in terms of they fucking did enough to keep Souths to 0, not give them any opportunities in their own 20, play the entire half down their side of the field.
South.
Make 7 line breaks.
South.
Was the execution thereof? First of all, you genuinely can't convince me that these cunts train. Because
Brisbane. Yeah, I know.
Because anytime you have a fucking backline of... all right, Walsh isn't there, leave Walsh out of it. One, I didn't see Hunt and Reynolds, who are kind of the two most experienced and arguably two of the best halves of this last decade. I don't see them combine at all on the opposition 10-meter line of like, oh, okay, dummy half to Reynolds to Hunt to fucking this guy.
What?
It's just like, all right, Reynolds, you go on the right side, Ben Hunt, you go on the left side, and we'll just fucking, even though there's no space, there's no nothing, we'll just give it to fucking Stags. Well, hopefully he can beat someone.
Well, yeah.
Stags can't. He just offloads to Mariner, who gets pumped and gets fucking thrown out. And so that's number one. There's no, like, structure. Without Walsh, it's like, oh, we'll just, like, eventually power into their try line.
Look, like, Walsh there or not, Cobbo is a fantastic replacement.
Yeah, I know.
My point is, Madge fucking had nothing.
Yeah, I know.
And Madge is a good coach. Whoever tells me, like, oh, yeah, he's the problem, it can't be Madge. Kevy is a good coach. Now we're convinced it's not Kevy either. It was never Kevy. And
there's nothing good about Kevy.
Yeah, I know, but it's not proven to me that they've changed at all. These fucking idiots.
I think two things can be true. One,
blow it up.
There's nothing that makes Kevy fantastic. And two, there's no one that can save these cunts.
There's no one can save him.
I'm convinced you can bring Bellamy next year and these cunts will be like, oh yeah, we'll fuck it. On second tackle, we'll give it to Walsh and he can do a cutout.
And the true fans of the podcast that watched episode 1, the season preview, when we said, oh, you know, what Buzz was saying was garbage. The rumor that they find preseason too hard and they're tired, whatever.
Yeah.
It's coming into fruition now. These cunts look fucking tired in the second half.
I'm getting to there.
Well, all right, go ahead.
There. So, in my eyes, first half, the intent was there. Execution wasn't great. So many line breaks of like, what do we always say about Souths? At any point in the middle, they're done.
Yeah.
It's all too hard for Souths.
Yeah.
And they'll just,
Shit,
all right, here's our try line. But who was the last line of defense in this game?
Lateral.
In my eyes, shout out to Stephen Crichton because he was right up there with him. But
Trolls play
this might be the performance of the season. And people are going to think I'm saying that because of the theatrics of how he won the game. But I swear to God, any other fullback for Souths, genuinely Broncos would have been up 34-0 at halftime.
Yeah.
The Haas walking through Jaeman Salmon line break, he would score that against anyone except Latrell. Mariner just literally walking through the fucking entire lineup just to get pumped by Latrell and get thrown out. The one-on-one strip at the end against Cobbo where he actually scored and the touch he put his flag up even though the winger didn't go out. I think he also stopped Stags one-on-one on the try line at some point. There was the Ben Hunt line break on the left side where he grubbers for Arthurs but Latrell's there to clean up. And what I'm thinking at this point is, yeah, it's great that like in a one-on-one situation Latrell can pump these cunts and like throw him out of touch,
but
do whatever.
Why South
South's going to let him through. We know that, right? That's why Broncos are 10.5 point favourites. But how the fuck do you get 12 line breaks in a game and you score one try that isn't from a kick? Literally.
Yeah.
But Roosters have an excuse, right? You can't have dog wank halves and you have like a new look of a team. You guys are running out Reynolds, Hunt, Cobbo, Stags, Shibasaki, Arthurs, Haas, Carrigan. How many more fucking players do you cunts need to score more than one try against Souths?
I agree.
You got to be joking.
All right.
So we go into halftime. It's 14-0. I was like, all right, Broncos are going to come out. If they just do what they did in the first half, which is butcher 5 tries and just run hard and tackle hard, they'll probably win like 28-6. Within 3 minutes, they're under their own fucking goalpost. Hyvili scores a barge over. And I was like, these cunts are going to lose, aren't they?
Yeah.
And it was like copy-paste of the first half. Broncos wrestle back momentum. They get down there. They don't score. They don't score. They don't score. They don't score. And I know this happens in a lot of games, but it was literally like, boom. Now, Broncos, you cunts have no energy anymore, no willingness to compete. Everything, you look like you're in quicksand, and Souths have a little bit of hope, and you cunts just fucking, you did this. Like, Souths are coming for us. It's too hard.
Yeah.
Even though we've had 60% of possession the whole game, and Souths have literally no players besides one fullback and Humphreys, we're just going to give up to them. All right, we'll lose. Are you kidding me?
Mate, I'm despise this team.
This is literally one of the worst losses of the season, in my mind.
Yeah, but it was outshone by the fucking rest of the round. But
well, it's debatable, right? Because you can say the Canberra collapse was bad, and it was horrible.
No, it was.
It was horrible, but some would argue that all right, at least the caliber of opposition was equal to them, right? What the fuck is Broncos' excuse
to lose to South?
To lose 22-14.
22-0 the second half.
They lost the second half 22-0 to that South lineup.
Yeah, look, I would love to put even one defense on Raiders, but I can't. I still think that's the worst.
It's kind of like pick your poison of who was fucking worse. But in my mind, considering who Broncos ran out there and who fucking South, like we're talking about a South team without Wyden, Cody Walker, Alex Johnston, Cam Murray, who fucking literally like...
Yeah, I know. Nothing.
We laughed at their forward pack in the preview of how are you going to run out Kaloma and
Deservedly,
Jaeara by themselves.
It was 15 line breaks.
Yeah. And they conceded 15 line breaks and still won.
Well, look, you know what's interesting? What minute did Ben Hunt get injured?
65 or something?
I can't think and sit here and think
they had a competent replacement.
No. That Ben Hunt would play 65 minutes through the middle of the park, like at hooker, would he? No, that wouldn't happen.
Well, save his hammies. He doesn't have to run as much.
Yeah, well, he probably won't play 80. I mean, he doesn't play 80 in Origin. So you're telling me he would have been off the field and not injured if Ezra had played? I'm just making I'm making coincidence. It's coincidental. He got injured towards the end of the game when he wouldn't have been there if Ezra played. So that's all I'm saying.
And you know what? To sort of extrapolate your point on Brisbane as a club, who's the coach of South Sydney right now?
Wayne.
If this current Broncos lineup played with half the ticket that these South's no-name cunts are running out,
oh my God,
would Broncos not be first right now?
Yeah, they wouldn't have lost. Maybe they lost one game. Genuinely, would have beaten anyone.
They would literally be like 9-1.
Yeah.
And
actually, no, they beat Dogs. They would have beaten everyone.
I know. That's what I'm saying. And literally, he was in your building.
Yeah.
You looked at Wayne Bennett after like 35 years of service in the NRL, and you were like, "Nah, fuck this. We want Seabold." And then 2 years later, you're like, "Nah, fuck Seabold. He sucks. We want Kevy."
I like Seabold.
Kevy missed the finals 3 out of 4 years. You're like, "Nah, all right, Kevy's the problem. Fuck Kevy. We want Madge." And now Madge is sitting there like a dick, every press conference being like, "Yeah, I'll wear that one. I'll wear that one. I learned a lot about my players tonight. You know, I love coaching these cunts. I
genuinely still think he likes Tigers more.
I learn so much about these cunts every week, and we just go out and lose in a more embarrassing way the following week. Losing by 40 to Penrith, who literally fucking drew, wasn't bad enough. Now we're going to give up to Souths, but I'm learning about these guys and how shit they are. That's what I hear every week.
What's worse is their commitment. The Tigers had more commitment under Madge.
Look, I feel like today's not the day to talk about Tigers.
No, but they did. Back in the day. Tigers.
Yeah, I know, but the optics of it all is...
This podcast, if anyone wants to come at me for being a Tigers fan, give them a fucking break. I don't think... I'll get to them later. I think if you could combine all 16 teams, I reckon they would have still lost it.
I feel like there's 17 teams, and you can do an analogy with any team besides Tigers today.
No. I'll get that point.
I think
later.
Pappy just scored again.
Look, I'll get to that point later. But look, Broncos, you cunts were outshone by the next game. So my upset alert hits.
You're putting a bow on this one. You don't want to talk about South.
I don't care about
You like
South.
them?
I like South. South is
Look,
South.
look, for them to go from the Knights game,
Look, okay.
go down 14-0 and win, that was like...
The only thing is,
That was
I'm
a great
sorry
win.
I put you guys as last because you won't come last now. And you guys have some fucking heart. But if you truly gave up to Broncos and say they lost the second half, and they ended up losing 30-6 or something, I'd be like, you guys are fucked. Like, absolutely fucked. So maybe that's Broncos playing like fucking idiots. I don't know. But like, at least you guys have that heart in you to come back from 14 down.
They really hung in there.
Knights will not do that. So
They really hung in there. And again, you guys can debate it in the comments below because I'm sure that shout out to Chris Crias, Matt, all the kennel cunts are going to be saying that. Well, some have even claiming that they should start getting his immortal jacket ready because of how good Critter was. But in my eyes,
Latrell.
I think Latrell was something else this round.
Critter was amazing.
To think that you're going to get Latrell in Origin this year is truly a mouthwatering
Well, you're going to get
prospect.
both of them in Origin.
And
They're the centers.
for his career in terms of his highs and lows, Wayne putting the captaincy armband on Latrell really made it look like
I believe in him.
I'll bleed for these cons.
Yeah.
Which the fact that High Veely came into the sheds to talk at full time was at the press conference was weird to me. But anyway,
Latrell was celebrating.
Was it unethical his try at the end? I was like, suck the fattest
Yeah,
in the world
fuck
to
'em.
Broncos.
Fuck them. No way.
And somewhere, someplace, some kind of hit a multi from that Latrell try.
You know
So
what?
that's
Shout out to
fantastic.
him. Shout out to him.
I love
Fuck
it.
him.
Anyway, moving on to
Just like Kaminga. Thank you.
upset alert, baby. Put it here, Chrissy. A good victory from you, mate. Some were shocked to even see you with your finger pointed at the Dogs logo during your upset alert segment, but they prevail in this one, and it was never in doubt after halftime. Anyway, full time 32-20. Talk to me. What was your thoughts?
All
on
right,
this
look.
one? Will you be playing Who Let the Dogs Out?
No. Look, like I said last week, and everyone wants to fucking debate me. It's fine. Go in the comments and debate me. The league's over, right? Like, we're talking about who makes the grand final at this point. The league's finished. We know who's going to win. And if you don't know, for disclaimer, it's Melbourne, which conveniently won 64-0 today. The league's fucking done, right? Every other team, no matter who you point out, there's periods of the game of 80 minutes that they give up. Melbourne do it too. Just Melbourne are so fucking good, it doesn't matter. Like, Cronulla to fucking Dogs, to Raiders, to Roosters, name anyone. Warriors, even Warriors this week. There was periods in the game they gave up. I know, it's fucking magical. Warriors giving up. A whole fucking point differential of 1 and these cunts are second. Anyway, everyone gives up. Dogs, truly, that first half, I was like, this is actually disgraceful from these cunts. I'm not going to lie. I was like, it's the same fucking team as last year. These cunts just go to the top 8 and back down. And what the Raiders were doing to them, I was like, it's fucking Raiders. Cunts, like, wake up. And they went into the sheds 20-0 down. Like I said, just then, it's fucking Raiders. Holy fuck. I mean, in a competition that we like to come out and just fucking blast teams, right? We have to blast the team coming third. That's what it's come to. And what's incredible is, sorry, they were second at this time. They're third now because Warriors, like I said. We have to put the team coming third in our fucking competition on blast. And that's all because they didn't put Dogs away. Even if they won this game by 4, right? If they found an ability to win this game by 4, we'd be like, all right, they won it because their first half was so good and they hung on in the second half. Fair enough.
I would have been impressed if they hung on.
Yeah, they hung on, right? You would be like, all right, these cunts are still, like, as much as they're as awful as... That's what Melbourne do 90% of the time, except for fucking today against my team. They win the first half by 1 million and second half they just let them back in the game. But everyone knows Melbourne, they're better than them. If Raiders hung on, I'd be like, all right, I'm impressed. Like, they're actually good. But whoever wants to come out at me and say Raiders are impressive... Except for fucking Warriors. But they're not impressive. Warriors are impressive. Dogs are impressive. They show me spells every single week. Okay, these cunts have just fucking mailed it in. Dogs in the first 20 minutes, they literally went there and like, we're going to just lose. Fuck it. We can't be bothered. The edge defense, right? Like, was despicable on that right-hand side. From fucking Sexton. That edge, awful.
Thingy side. What's his name?
Montoya's side,
and
holy
Jerry, yeah,
fuck.
me, it was
Awful. And the second half, the other edge. I mean, Matt Timoko is not a bad centre. He just got fried.
No, it was Seb Chris.
Even worse. Seb Chris.
Which,
Awful.
In the preview, I was like, this cunt's going to get killed.
He got killed, right? But you're up 20-0. There's no reason. But I know Critter, was amazing. But the whole team actually played amazing in the second half for Dogs. And shout out to Serraldo. We did give him a lot of shit in his first season, but we've realised he's a fucking gun coach. He got them to fucking wake up. And them waking up didn't mean that they could just come back like that. But I love how Dogs were so thematical. I know someone like Manly would just go throw the ball around and hope they would score.
Yeah.
Melbourne would throw the ball around and hope they would score.
Yep.
Dogs were just, all right, we get one, we'll get the momentum, we get two, we'll get the momentum. And legit, it took 20 minutes. I love fucking
not
these
even. Fucking 15 minutes later, they were tied.
Exactly. And I'm like, but Raiders, will be Raiders. So anyone that wants to come at me, Charles Croon, Raiders will be Raiders. You have this in them. They just go out there and play like the old Raiders. And they played like old Raiders. Nothing's changed. And what's frustrating is these cunts are in the top 4. It's the same fucking team. They will go out there and play half a game really, really good like they did the first half, kill the team, and the second half just play like, oh yeah, back in the day, all goods. Ricky told us to just play the same way. What did Ricky say at halftime? You know Ricky would have said something like, all right, boys, we got them, but you know they're going to come out with a fucking sucker punch in the second half. You have to be ready for it. And within 20 minutes, they gave up. It's honestly, in a sport, this is why I'm frustrated with the round. Raiders should win this game. And I can't come out and say Dogs are shit or Dogs don't play good against the top 8 because Dogs won. And what am I supposed to say about Raiders? They're fucking garbage after one half of football. I know next week they're going to rape Titans. So it's like, well, what the fuck am I supposed to sit here and say? Raiders, yes, you guys were fucking shit in that second half. And this is what I expect from you cunts week in, week out, but I don't get it. I don't get it. I get you cunts fucking winning, beating Melbourne, doing some garbage, and that's why I put Dogs as upset alert. But Dogs, how much credit can I give them? They were down 20-0, and in a fucking normal league, in a normal scenario, even in a finals game, you don't come back from 20-0. But this sport, you do, so I don't know.
All right.
Does my head in.
Up until this game, so previous to this.
Just circus.
This is a circus, right? It was a night circus. It was a south circus. These games, I was like, all right.
No more circus.
We got some weird as fuck results. This is just stupid. It happens. Let's move on to the two big dogs taking on each other.
And more stupidity.
After the 80 minutes that was played in this game, the rugby league and the NRL is not the league that we know and love for the past 10, 20, 30, 40 years.
It's changed.
This iteration is a completely fucking different product.
It's a different... It should be renamed.
I am actually going to, live on set, swear to our audience that from this game forward, my analysis is never going to be, oh, this team quit for 20 minutes in this game. They're a pile of garbage.
You can't.
Because I literally can't even fucking... The Storm game aside, because that was just like, fuck me, talk about wrong place, wrong time. The Storm game aside, we are now looking at every fucking game of this sport, including half of the ones from last round, where one team will fucking win a 20-minute interval 18-0, 20-0, and then immediately lose the next 20-minute interval 18-0, 20-0.
Well, look, it's only teams that are impressive is when they have their 20 minutes.
Yeah.
If they win 24-0, that's it. It's done.
All right, you name me. All right, you think Raiders and Warriors are fucking garbage, right?
Yeah.
You name me. Who do you think are the 3 best teams in the league right now?
Melbourne.
Cronulla. Yep.
Dogs.
Cool. So Melbourne last week
gave up.
Came out on fire, led 14-0, had an interval where they fucking lost 18-0.
Yeah.
Sharks today come out on fire, lead 14-0.
Gave up.
Blink. They're a fucking collar knock-on away from being down 18-14.
We'll get to that. It's the same fucking principle.
And Dogs, look,
first half.
If Dogs can't fucking go out there and they're not even above this fucking momentum rampage of a sport, then I know that this is bigger than, oh, this team's are fucking shit or this team's shit. the product of the league and how they've like made the games play out, I know Dogs don't go out there and give up.
Yeah, I know.
Right? For them to be down 20-0 is like extremely abnormal. And it's happened in the Brisbane game. It happened in this Raiders game. It's fucking out of control.
Well, you know what it is? It's,
that first half, like...
I'm telling you, it was unwatchable.
How many calls?
I agree.
How many fucking calls did Raiders get in a row? And I was like, well, we're back to fucking last year where I just saw this until I saw 20-0, and I was like, well, okay.
Yeah, but Raiders didn't get enough, right? Broncos had that exact same scenario, and Broncos got 34. That's it. It was done. You can't come back from that.
This is what we're talking about, right? 20-0, when you look at the scoreline, you're like, fuck, that's insurmountable. But 20-0 is like, equates to 10-0 from back in the day.
Yeah, that's what it is.
You get one try, don't write 20-6, write 20-12.
I actually don't even think it's a try anymore. At this point, it's literally, if you make an error in your own half, you're done.
Yeah, it's completely finished.
It's not even the fact, okay, you guys can't defend it. It's like everything starts going against your team.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
All of a sudden, have you noticed when a team doesn't have momentum, the other team can just line the ruck for a little longer.
Yeah, I know.
They can hit him a bit higher.
Yeah.
They can call the ref a flog, and he's like, oh, all good.
You're up, all good.
Whatever. And then they make one error, and the ref's like...
It's incredible.
And then the 30 minutes they didn't make one error, now they can't fucking catch a bomb or a kickoff, or everything's a penalty.
Wait till the later in the round. I think the best representation of this whole fucking garbage is the last game.
Yeah.
That represents everything.
Yeah. Well, they're all the same. It doesn't matter.
That one in particular, because like there were glimpses of Dogs playing okay. They were just getting raped by the ref, by fucking Montoya being an idiot.
Yeah.
They were just getting raped. I genuinely did not see one glimpse of Manly even having a slight hope of scoring.
No, I agree with
you. Then...
And it's interesting, right? Where we came on the pod and we're like, look, fundamentally, Dogs are just a better team. So I want my analysis to be separate to all this momentum garbage.
Yeah.
Okay, why did Dogs not have the momentum? They kind of imploded in the first half.
Yeah, well, they did that against Broncos.
Raiders got a lot of calls, but a lot of this was just Dogs like really dropped it again like that for the 50th time in a row. Okay, sure. Was their goal line a bit softer than what we normally would like to see? Yes. Were they getting cut to shreds by Savage and Weeks on the right, on Jerry's side of the field? Yes, absolutely.
Jerry, that Weeks
was
try.
awful.
Fuck me.
It's essentially Dogs just fucking couldn't regroup until they got to halftime, and then the belief didn't waver for them. In my eyes, Souths only had to come back from 14. So one try after halftime was like half the fucking work already done. Titans had scored before halftime, so they already went into halftime with a bit of hope.
Well,
Dogs, it was like,
they're done.
Fuck. We're playing the team coming second on the ladder in their building, which is sold out. They really haven't set a foot wrong this whole game. Like you said, back against the wall, Manly would be like, let's throw the footy around. Yeah. Maybe we can score some garbage.
Well, against Raiders, they would have scored.
Melbourne would be like, let's throw the footy around. But they actually would score some garbage, right? Yeah. Dogs were like, all right, we come out. Burden dropped it to start the second half. They could have been like, fuck, Raiders are going to score again, and 26-0's too much. They hung in there. And this is the point where the rest of the game, in my eyes, I'm like, all right, Raiders, that's fucking disgraceful.
No, that was awful.
This was really bad.
That's why it's the worst, to be honest.
It probably is the worst
because Dogs had nothing.
Like we're saying, Chris, you can go 25 minutes with just relentless momentum and everything, but if you really are a top 4 team, I think you should never allow 40 straight minutes of destruction.
Yeah,
to that extent.
And it was just, I despise clubs that don't learn their lesson. And Raiders, that play with kick out, I can't imagine how many times Ricky's played that on the screen in front of their fucking... But the fact that they let that in twice, and the second one was even worse. Kick out had no one is there.
No, but look, the kick out ones are on the back of... That's at the back end of the Dogs having the ball.
Yeah, but the start is fucking Critter.
What the fuck's the excuse for... All right, Critter gets the ball 3 minutes after halftime, and you can't just fucking part the Red Sea. Like, we're not going to put more of an emphasis on putting players on that side of the field, knowing that realistically, right now,
That's what-
Crit is the only kind that can bail them out of this game. Sure, Crit is that great, and he's really making a campaign for himself being one of the elite standards, maybe even in the history of the sport. And we call him Bitcoin for a reason, right? He's really turned the fucking club around, like, in a lot of ways, not just on the field, but off the field. But for me to be like, in the preview pod, Seb Chris is going to give this cunt 3 tries, and then they go up 20-0, and it's like, they have one avenue of getting back in the game.
And they let
and
him.
you can't just allow, all right, here's 3 tries.
Well, it's Raiders, right? Like, this
And-
is not a top 4 team.
And there was never a moment of, I got to 20-all, but we got back up to 24-20. Or, okay, they went to 26-20, and we got to 26-all, and then we lost in Golden Point. It was...
Try.
We went up 20-0, we're gods. Oh, fuck, Critter got a line break and they scored 1. All right, the game's over. That's what it felt
Well,
like.
they let Salmon score after that.
They literally let the
got
week
it.
got a dog score. So, again, shout out to Matt. Shout out to Chris, all the members of the kennel. Charles, I'm sorry, mate, but I think, like, you guys really deserve the roasting we just gave you.
Oh,
too.
yeah. You can't,
That was
you're
really
not a top...
fucking
You're a
bad.
top 8 team, but you're not a top 4 team. in my
Yeah,
eyes.
there's levels, and I think you need to, like, give a young team like Canberra a bit more time to earn their place. I don't even think it's our fault why we get frustrated with these cunts. Like, Warriors is coming next, but
Warriors.
we know intrinsically Warriors are not the second best team in the league. We know Raiders aren't the second best team in the league.
Exactly.
And it's annoying to constantly be like...
No, but they are.
And then have cunts be like, no, but they're second, you guys don't know anything. But like,
We watch them play.
okay, 32-0 on a half of footy. That doesn't really scream second to me. But anyway, it's still in the top 4, so...
Well, another team that's second, the new second place
Brand
team.
new second. Are they now officially cursed for accepting second place on the ladder?
I don't know.
The Wars.
Fuck the Wars, bro.
Gee,
No, actually,
you gotta
fuck-
give us an apology.
Fuck Dragons. It's all Dragons' fault.
Nah, give them some credit.
For
mate.
what? They
deserve
came
it.
back.
No, they hung on. Who else hung on?
Not Warriors, you mean?
Yeah.
Dragons. I was
No,
giving.
fuck Dragons.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was saying.
Warriors, I'll give you some credit. That I said in the preview pod, it's not going to be easy to go to the Gong and win. You went up 14-0 in a round of
Just stupid.
just ridiculous comebacks. You cunts gave up 80% of it, but the same way in the Cowboys game last week, and that's the same way now. At some point, you got to give them some credit for being able to hold on when nobody else around them's holding on.
No one
right?
else holds on. That's the credit you give. But now that they're second, they're probably everyone's saying they're going to make the top 4. I think they're just in the 8 right now, above Tigers. I can't make a case for Tigers today.
They're better than Tigers.
So
Come
so
on.
look, I've got them just in the 8 now. But again, I know there's a game in them they're going to fuck it up, and they're lucky they played Dragons.
Oh,
in my opinion.
Dragons.
Like, again, Warriors hung on, which they did last week, and they've probably done for the past fucking 10 weeks, right? And that's why their point difference is 1, not fucking any more than that. Because they're hanging on when those periods of momentum is fucking going against them. But in those cases, there has been things that go their way during that time to make them win. Because last week, fucking the only reason the momentum broke for Cowboys is because Metcalf dragged him out. Otherwise, they would have lost. It was done.
Yeah, but
No. I'm saying they get credit for fucking doing that.
Yes.
They do the little
That's
stuff
their
still.
job.
They
That's
still
their
do
job.
it, right? Because other teams in this fucking league, after 15 minutes of momentum going against you, that last 5 minutes, these cunts are just given up, right?
Yeah.
And what Warriors do is they acknowledge it. And every club outside of Melbourne don't need to acknowledge anything. The rest of them need to acknowledge, all right, these teams have the momentum. We need to fucking do every little thing right. We can't make errors. We can't give them anything that they want to give. If the ref gives a penalty for us being slightly slow, all right, sure, whatever. Like, we got to defend our line. And Warriors do that brilliantly. No one else does it. Even Dogs don't do it. Dogs showed in the first half they don't do shit. They just implode. Just like Brisbane, just like fucking Cronulla today. Everyone implodes. Unless you're fucking raping them, which was rape today. Everyone implodes. Warriors, they still do the little things. They keep whatever is in their own control, they do correctly, and that's why they win. That's the only reason. But other than saying that, they were up 14-0. It was 14-0. The exact same scenario. Warriors, did they do anything wrong to make it 14-0? Like, in my opinion, I watched that game and I was like, Warriors should win this by 30, but I know Dragons going to come back. Like,
Yeah.
they're going to give us a chance.
Like I said, that's just the nature of the sport.
And that's just the nature of the sport.
This is beyond Warriors and Dragons.
But-
This is like...
But Warriors acknowledged that Dragons were going all over them. All right, we got to make sure we don't relinquish the lead. And they didn't. Yes, Val missed a stupid kick. Sure, it should have been 16-14. But whatever. My point is that Warriors did everything in their power to make sure it's close. Gave every little bit of energy. You didn't see them make any outrageous errors, anything dumb during that period of time. Even though Dragons were getting every fucking call, every hit up, they were slow. They would just give a penalty away. Warriors kept it within themselves. And that's what's brilliant about Warriors. Are they a talented team? Are they going to make noise in the finals? Probably not. But at the moment, in the way this league is being fucking played, they stop the momentum because they do everything right that they can control. At this point, you can't control what the ref's going to do. You can't control how well Dragons are going to fucking be on the front foot and all of a sudden everyone's hitting the ball hard when they have fucking Clemmer, for God's sake. But they control what they can do, and that's why they won this game. Dragons, all right, Zerafrost brothers. I saw you guys today.
I turn it off.
I've never seen them more depressed in my life.
Yeah,
after
bad.
this. Like...
I've never seen Shane Flanagan more depressed in the post-game press.
I don't know where you go. I forgot about these cunts. They potentially come last.
They're dreadful.
They've nothing. It's just like...
They're so bad.
And you know what's interesting? We'll come out and say they're so bad where we just said we're not going to make fun of teams, right? But
but this is nothing new for
Dragons. But
Dragons.
Dragons, like, that momentum period, you really should have taken the lead. You had enough ball. I genuinely think they should have been in front. Yes, Warriors come back and win, sure, but...
Nah, you know what?
The fact that you cunts didn't take the lead is
what?
just incredible.
Nah. Dragons...
They were atrocious.
Look, Dragons are pretty bad.
No, they're
but
bad.
They make themselves look
Worse.
out to be worse than what they actually are. These fuckwits easily could have beaten Souths in what was it, week 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Could have beaten Tigers last week. Could have won fucking 2 like yesterday. But Souths are the only cunts that... Sorry, Dragons are the only cunts that all these games go the same direction.
Yeah.
They are on the losing side of fucking all of them.
Yeah.
And what did we say in the preseason? This is literally the worst halves pairings I might have ever seen in my life.
I can't imagine.
And that's why they lost.
You know what is really painful is that if Ben Hunt was at Dragons, genuinely they could almost be in the 8.
They'd be in the 8.
And
If look,
they would be in front of Broncos, which is incredible.
yeah, I know.
That's
which
insane.
is like how Dragons were in the last 2 seasons.
Yeah.
As awful as they were, they had Ben Hunt and
Lomax.
Lomax, and that was enough for like.
But now
especially-
they're actually not bad. Like, King's playing out of his fucking mind.
Yeah, but you can't like.
These cunts...
I said Gutherson will set the culture and Val will score the points. Conveniently can't kick goals or field goals anymore. Now he's not in a
that
fucking
field goal,
Cowboys jersey.
fuck you, Val.
But outside of that,
They have nothing.
they actually have nothing.
They have nothing.
Yeah.
And look, the only reason I say Knights is lower is because when Kalen's not there, they have nothing.
Nah, I would take the Knights roster over the Dragons.
Nah,
one.
I can't.
I'll give me fucking.
I'm taking Flanagan over Adam O'Brien any day.
What did I tell you about the Dragons forward pack?
Yeah, well, look.
In the preseason pod, what did I tell you?
Listen,
These
you
guys
can't-
are dreadful.
You can't run out
You
there
can't
with
run
Clemmer.
Clemmer out there. And the Dragons have no shame. They'll run anyone out there. It's fucked. It's fucked at the gong.
Dragons,
they're
I'm
awful.
sorry, boys. I'm so sorry. I hope you cunts fucking turn it around, but
I have
you cunts
another-
can't.
I have an interesting point to make about Warriors.
Can you believe this team was 2.5 week 1?
Fuck me. They're,
Yeah.
they're so bad.
Anyway, continue.
It's because of the stupid preseason games they kept winning. Warriors, you can't need to fucking wake up in this regard.
Yeah.
All we've spoken about for fucking 40 minutes on this podcast is when you have the momentum, you need to maximize your opportunities.
They
soon as
don't.
possible.
They don't.
Why do you cunts keep taking the 2?
Yeah, I don't know.
And it's interesting in this case that you ended up winning by 1, so those penalty goals theoretically saved
but
you.
you cunts fucking
But-
lost the momentum.
For how much ball and quality of ball and where the field position was in that first half, genuinely you deserve to be up like 24-0.
Maybe that's the essence of what I should have said, is that the 2 points gives you 2 points but kills your momentum immediately.
Well, it's not just that. It's the fact that conveniently it's followed by a fucking error.
No,
2 minutes
I
later.
agree. But that's because the momentum isn't with you.
Yes.
You start making those fucking errors,
Yes,
right?
exactly,
It's
yeah.
all because you take the 2 points. And we saw, and let me think. I don't know if Broncos took the 2, did they? To make
Yeah.
it 14. Look, 14 doesn't mean shit from 12
Yeah.
at this point. It doesn't mean anything. Actually, it's even more scary because what happens is one of these tries that they give, they score once, it's 14-6, right? They score again, they miss the kick, and then all of a sudden you're fucking shaking, right? Like it's 14-10, you're like, fuck, we could win. There's no point total that's enough. It doesn't matter if it's 16. The only time it gets too much, if you're leading 24-0, you make it 26, all right, fuck, these cunts are fucked, right? But at 14 means nothing anymore. 14 is the new fucking 8, in my opinion.
Well, Raiders realistically could have let 30-0, they would have lost.
Yeah, no,
You know?
but
So, like, it's 30
but
is not even enough
would
when you can't give up.
Would Dogs come back from 30-0? I don't think they would have.
I don't think we're more than 2 or 3 weeks away from seeing some cunt come back from 30 in this sport. That's where we're at.
Fuck me.
I'm
That's
telling
fucked.
you, it's fucked.
That's fucked.
But when in your life have you seen a round where when a team goes up 20-0, you're like, oh, it doesn't really mean much.
It doesn't mean anything.
Right?
But,
Back in the day, if you went up 16-0, it's fucking over.
it affects, it's every sport.
Yeah,
it's
I
not
know.
even these.
I know, I
Like,
know. We're just in a bit of a like goofy time.
fuck
where,
me, it's goofy.
Like to see it in the morning on the basketball and then at night on this garbage.
Basketball's more believable though.
Yeah, because of like, footy is out of control with the momentum. It's fucked.
Yeah.
Going back to Dragons.
No, I got nothing else to say about these.
Look, you guys suck.
Yeah, it suck
I'm
ass.
sorry, Dragons fans. Zarafos brothers. I know you have a great fan base and it's a great, rich history of a club, but I'm sorry. This needs to be addressed.
I hope they
Like,
beat Broncos next week, but they won't.
This needs to be addressed. Like, this halves pairing is just not fucking NRL standard. I'm sorry, boys. This is like...
I'll drop Flano. Fuck it.
This is the problem for Shane Flanagan. What the fuck are his options?
Yeah, it's no options.
What's he going to do?
I don't think Atkinson can fix these cunts either.
Nah, they need fucking Ben Hunt.
Yeah, they need Ben Hunt.
Like, literally.
Ben Hunt, Atkinson, I'll be like,
Shout
alright.
out to Luke Metcalf. I think...
What a season he's
What's
having.
he probably top 3 in Dalian voting right now? Deservedly so. I think he's the reason they are 2nd instead of like 8th.
You reckon Terrell...
His development in that... I think he got 1 vote today
Yeah, that's
for
what I was
running
gonna
out
say.
an orange
That's what I was going to say.
But Metcalf is essentially... What's fascinating me, Chris, is that it seems to... Like, logically speaking... You need an experienced game managing half
But you don't.
to wrestle this momentum fucking struggle.
The ref manages the game for you.
But it's not fucking Nathan Cleary and Adam Reynolds doing it for their teams week in, week out. So the fact that Metcalf can carry a spine of Nickel Klokstad and Harris DeVita, and who are all playing well, I'm not saying anything about them, but the fact that so early on into having the 7 on his back, he's been able to develop to this point really has like made it possible for the Warriors to
I just
get to where they are.
Look,
And I'm very impressed with them.
They're playing great, but I know it's going to swing. Like those games that they
fine.
stop the momentum, it's just not going to happen. So
That's fine.
I don't think intrinsically they're a good team. Just like Raiders, I never thought they were a good team, and they proved me fucking right. After half time, I was like, oh fuck these. In both games, half time I was like, fuck, Warriors are pretty good, eh? Oh, halftime, Raiders are pretty good, eh? And then I watched the second half and I was like, well, they're the same as everyone else. Yes, Warriors didn't lose because I explained why they didn't lose and add to a bit of that, it's fucking Dragons. But, like, I know it's in them. And if I know it's in them, if they have a spell that's longer than that 20 minutes, hypothetically, they're done. They'll lose. So, look, Warriors, congrats to you guys. Great win. But I'm never going to give you guys credit because what I'm seeing, the product, in those periods of time when you only score 14, i.e. 2 tries and fucking 3 goals, that's not enough in this fucking league. 14's nothing. We saw it today. 14's fucking... It can be abolished in literally 10 minutes. And it's like, all right, well, if you only can... And what the thing is, that's Warriors fucking max. They won't score more than that. We know they can't score.
Well, they can.
No, they can't. They cannot score more than 14 in 20 minutes. I don't think it's possible.
No.
I think their
They've
offense
got
is just not there.
More than 30 against Tigers, against Cowboys.
Well, no, I don't think their offense is there.
Fair enough.
I think Metcalf's having a season and a half, but...
I think in this sport it doesn't matter. Offense, defense, it's just, have you had the ball for 20 minutes? Yes.
How many points did you score?
Yeah. And there's only like select teams that, like Knights, they can't score.
All those teams at the bottom.
Some teams that just can't defend air like Para, and then that's where they are.
Well, Para, they do it to themselves because their momentum shifts because they can't defend. But anyway,
Warriors, shout out to you guys. Second on the ladder.
let's get on to the draw.
All my Wise supporters, my G's out there, shout out to you guys.
Why are you shouting? Well, you like Warriors.
I respect them.
Yeah, I don't.
Because, like, if you weren't seeing this through bias lens, normally, like, you would despise these cunts all giving up. And you would actually like Warriors for the fact that they don't give up.
Listen, look, for everyone that's new, you guys will be like, why are you cunts biased? Look, I was biased against Dogs all last year. Warriors are just my team. Whatever. It is
You're
what it is.
them.
I'm claiming them. It
Fair
is
enough.
what it is.
Fair enough.
Move on.
Let's talk about my team, the team that managed to somehow get a draw in this crazy round.
Fuck this game.
I think we can spend the least amount of time on this game because
Look,
it just was fucking annoying.
It's exactly what I thought. Like,
30 all.
Cowboys can't defend. Penrith can't defend. And it's just 10-minute spells of fucking garbage. It's
Yeah.
just this. It's the pinnacle of garbage. There's no reason for Penrith, the 4-time champions, with 10 minutes to go, and you know what's fucking hilarious? If Toto doesn't drop that ball in the last 10 minutes, they probably win this game 13+. As soon as he dropped it, momentum went against them.
Yeah, I know.
And it's like I said for every other game, it's exactly the same.
And like we said, instead of riding 30-24, they may as well have just ridden 30 all.
You knew they would have scored twice.
Maybe you didn't think in the fucking following immediate set they would score again, but I mean that's Cowboys razzle out of footy for you. So
they
fair
can
enough.
pull it off.
I really don't have any takeaway out of this game at all.
Look, in a league that we don't know who's going to make the A, if it was old NRL, I'd be like, both these teams can't make it. They're both rubbish. But in this fucking competition, who knows?
I actually kind of leave this game respecting Cowboys a bit more.
No, I do respect them a bit more. At least they fucking can
Yeah,
score.
yeah.
They can score. That's hard for some teams.
Cowboys are like the better version of Titans this year, where like anytime they can score.
Cowboys are arguably the best Queensland team right now.
Nah. By default, it's Brisbane just because of who they have.
But with the injuries, you can't.
Because at the end of the day, Cowboys will give up as well.
Yeah, I know. Fuck. Right now, I think it's next week, actually. No. Brisbane play fucking Dragons. Cowboys play someone funny.
Okay, we'll go worst to best. Titans are the worst.
Yeah, they're worse than Dolphins. Then Dolphins.
Are Dolphins like visibly worse than Cowboys?
Yeah. Nah, I got to give Cowboys above them.
Yeah. So for Cowboys to even be like, oh, are they the best or second best? That's pretty good for them.
Yeah,
From
where they started. Yeah, exactly. They've turned it around.
Yeah.
It's Todd Payton. They're not fucking
think
shit.
Dearden is on track for like, I don't know, off the top of my head, I'm not thinking about other 5'8", but for what he does for this team, I wouldn't mind seeing the Maroons grab him or for him to be Dally M 5'8" of the year. This can't like, literally, defensively, in attack, he would literally bleed for this club.
They're giving Dally M's to other teams. I thought it was exclusive to one club.
Yeah, Tigers.
No.
All the awards are going to go to Terrell, mate.
I thought the team was just...
Well, we'll get to them shortly, but yeah, Penrith, like...
They're actually not good. What did I tell you? From when you came back, you were like, oh, these guys have some ticker. And last week showed, but it was more Brisbane than anything else.
Look,
this week, like, they got...
Penrith...
Literally, they got lucky.
They're not the old Penrith anymore.
They're not. It's,
No.
it's a new Penrith.
The old Penrith would have won this 30-18.
Easily.
They would never fucking allow these guys to score
Penrith,
twice in that last
4-time champions, the best team of the modern era. Not in my eyes and not in your eyes either.
Oh, no, they are.
Okay, the best team of the modern era can't stop the momentum. Like, if that doesn't scream to you what's happening in this sport, then I don't know what else will. The team that is the 4-time champs, yes, it's not built like before, but they don't even... Like, that last 10 minutes... As soon as Toto dropped it, I was like, it's going to be 30 all. Yeah. And the fact we know that and we could see it happening live, you're just like, fuck me, is this momentum that fucked? That they just, like that, the game changes.
But you know what, though? You're not going to like this because this goes against one of your teams that you would love and admire and die for. And I'm giving credit to Cowboys, which I might just fucking collapse and not do the last 2 games. The try to Jenkins... that made it 30-18, which was...
Brilliant.
One of the worst tries I've ever seen in my life. Would have given Cowboys every reason to go ahead and lose by 18-20. Like the fuckwits today.
No. But...
The Manly side where Garrick dropped it. It was like Manly had all the possession. got it to 14-0. Garrick dropped it and gave them that dog shit try, and then they gave up and lost by 20.
No, it happened after that.
Instead of Cowboys giving up and losing by 20, they actually fucking somehow leave this game with a point on the competition ladder.
Yeah,
which
but
is insane to me.
No. I agree. But does it take it away? I actually think they were playing a harder competition.
Sharks.
Yeah. Sharks are better than Penrith.
Sure, I guess.
No, they are. Penrith are literally 15th.
But Manly are intrinsically way better than Cowboys.
Look, Manly. Well, you can make that point next week when you back Cowboys, but when you look at the spread, you're going to say 1.5, is that it? And you're going to take Manly.
No.
They play each other.
No, I'm saying Manly are way better than Cowboys.
Yeah, I know.
So the fact that...
They didn't and they did, I get it.
Look, I think... Well, both of these games were 3.5, right? So,
Yeah.
they're saying Penrith are as superior to Cowboys as fucking Manly were to Sharks today.
Well, no, the Penrith are so much more superior because it's on the road.
Yeah.
So, and there was a lot of... The Sharks game, there's other factors. Obviously, the bye and Sharks playing in Magic Round. There's other factors. That's why Manly were favoured at 3.5. In true, passion, it's probably a pick'em game, these two teams.
Brookvale?
Oh, maybe 1.5 favourite to Manly. I think the other factors caused it to be Manly favouritism. But regardless of that, yes, Cowboys... I'm not giving any of these rubbish teams credit because I know next week they're going to fuck it up. Every other week, you don't know what you're going to get out of these teams.
That's the nature of the sport.
And
You can only go and be like, you know what, Cowboys, you can't... At least fucking didn't give up and you got 30 all.
Should have Cowboys won the game? You could argue, they should have.
Yeah.
Penrith did stop that. You can give them credit for that, I guess.
No, I'm good. Because they should have won
way
at
earlier.
worst 30-24.
Well, look, both scenarios, they were up by 12.
Yeah.
They were up 18-6 and they were up 30-18.
The entire fucking game was Penrith score, Cowboys score, Penrith score, Cowboys score, Penrith score twice, Cowboys score twice, Penrith score, Cowboys
Until
score.
the end, Cowboys scored 2.
Until the very end, where you guys were actually in jeopardy of losing, let alone, why didn't you guys fucking cover the -3? That should have been easy for you.
It really, but this is a different NRL. And the teams, it doesn't matter anymore.
And I will concede to you, it's a different Penrith.
Yeah, it's not the same Penrith.
The Penrith of old would never allow these guys to get to 30.
No way.
We move on to past Saturday night where the crazy results
Continue.
stopped and
No.
a team just finally got fucking massacred. Shout out to Harry if you want one. Claws down. I'm sorry, mate. It was a tough day at the office for you. Shout out to JB.
Who was cheering for these cunts?
The Tigers. The Leichhardt faithful. Where were you, mate?
No.
I will say I came on the pod and I gave Tigers hope. And I rescinded that hope Sunday morning. And we sent out -14.5. Because I was like, these cunts are going to die, aren't they?
Is that it?
And you called it 5 days ago, so I'll give you the credit. Well done. Did you see 64-0 coming, Chris?
No, but
64-4 maybe.
maybe they would have scored one. Okay. Now I'm comfortable. We're back to fucking normality for one game. Fuck, Tigers got fucking raped. I mean, and this Melbourne just... Look, the league's finished. Like I said at the start, when Dogs and Raiders were talking about who's going to quit in the second half and who's not. Look, you give Melbourne 20 minutes worth of fucking calls in momentum and all this garbage. They put 30 on ya. That's it. You can't sit done. And what's fucked is all right, can any other team actually, one, stop this fucking garbage, which we've seen the best. Warriors are a fantastic example, and which is another reason why their difference is only one because of this fucking game that they went to Melbourne and played. They couldn't stop it. Can anyone stop these cunts?
It's over.
It's literally finished. Because of how the league is structured. Because of how the refs are calling the game. That's the essence of the issue. Right?
I actually have a great question for you.
I'll tell you. This is why this is the biggest issue. And why, I'm saying the league's done. I know Melbourne in the grand final are going to get 20 minutes worth of calls.
Yeah.
It's done. Who's going to defend that 20 minutes in the grand final?
That's kind of where I was alluding to.
Yeah.
As currently constructed, who would give Melbourne the biggest challenge on grand final day?
Dogs.
They're going to beat Dogs.
Truly, in my heart, it would be Cronulla.
They're going to rape Cronulla.
There's no one.
Yeah.
Brisbane are the only cunts, but
Yeah.
they're going to stop that 20 minutes worth of play?
essentially by default is why Melbourne are fucking $2.70 to win the whole thing.
Look, Melbourne won this game 64-0. 64-0 without Harry Grant, Howlett, and Warbrick.
Yeah, literally their captain didn't even play.
And look, Tigers, you guys were always going to lose. Anyone that thought they had a fucking chance today needs to wake up. Second of all, does it take any way with Tigers? Maybe it slips them down a spot. I can see them not making the 8 now. Like, they're just retarded. But, like, truly, like, I was going to say this point before, but I'll make it now. I reckon with everyone's performance this week, the whole team's performance, every team, you could combine the best 16 team of the week from the other 16 clubs, and they would lose.
I disagree.
You could put Latrell, put Stephen Crichton, pick all the players that played gun, and they literally would lose to this Melbourne
I
team.
disagree. You just have recency bias because Tigers literally never got off the bus.
No.
This is the same Melbourne team that fucking lost 7 days ago.
No.
Yeah.
No. I'm saying in this scenario. Don't worry about 7 days ago.
Same scenario. You give me Critter and Latrell and all these guys, they would literally win. Tigers, talk about lifeless, pulseless. What do you want them to do? Made me look like a fool.
What do you want them to do?
This is where I'm quite conflicted. And I'm not really going to say anything about Melbourne because...
We're going to have to go fast. The fucking camera's going to die.
Melbourne just massacred them, whatever. Tigers, it's really much to say. Like,
yeah, there is.
A lot of teams go there at 4 p.m. on Sunday and get pumped. I guess with Tigers, I'll see if you guys wake up to yourselves next week. Sure, that's it. I really don't.
There's nothing much to say. Like we know this is Melbourne. At least they went out and massacred someone, and we don't have to hear these cons are not that good. They actually are.
Yeah.
And the league's finished, and whoever else wants to make the grand final and face this team, good luck to you. That's basically it.
Manly, Seabold, Cherry Evans, leadership group
needs to fucking wake up.
Wake up to yourselves. You had a week off, and you come out, dish that dog shit fucking first half up, or all you do is drop the ball and give up on your try line. It was fucking horrible. And in the second half, literally, outside of one of the most flukiest but impressive and talented tries to call it to get the comeback kick started, and Trindle's HIA, there was nothing to suggest to me that you cunts came out of the sheds with any more intent than you went into the sheds with. And that essentially, once you lost momentum, was further showcased by you ended up losing 30-14. So wake up to yourself.
Yeah, worst part of this sport was this game, in my opinion. Sharks all over them in the first half. Yes, they should have been up by more than 14. Fair enough.
Can't score.
But, they can't score. But my polar issue with this fucking sport was shown in this game. Brooks passes that ball to Kohler, and Kohler goes straight through. Manly probably win this game 13+. We're not deserving anything from this game at all. Yep. And we're sitting here being like, fuck, we told you cunts, Manly's just going to cover easily. So what's so frustrating is that Cronulla I don't think they made one step wrong outside of fucking Trindle dropping it.
Yep.
And they still fucking were this close.
That's all it took.
It took.
As soon as Manly scored the first try, I was like,
they're going to score again.
Oh, this is typical 4 p.m. Brookvale. Like, you just can't stop their route. And they didn't. Manly just dropped it and then gave up.
Yeah.
Sharks did nothing to get back in that game.
No, they didn't. Melbourne mainly made the same errors they were before. And look, if Trindle doesn't score that rubbish try that Garrick basically gave to them, how do you know they're not going to go short, get it, and probably fucking go win the game anyway?
Literally, yeah.
Or it goes to Golden Point and Manly win by 1 or some shit.
I know why. Because as soon as Kohler dropped it, the entire energy just went out of the whole team.
So it's just like, all right, something is bound to happen. And it's incredible. Sharks, big tell next week. You probably have the biggest game at PointsBet in a long time. I feel like
the Dogs game at least.
I feel like they haven't played at PointsBet since that game.
They might not have.
Because I think they went to Perth and they went fucking Magic Round. So
Leichhardt,
they haven't actually played there in a fucking age. So they got a lot to prove in a game that they have already a lot to prove.
4.5 against Melbourne.
Yeah, well,
is that it?
Well,
fuck me. At least
they don't have Harry.
6.
They don't have Harry.
No, he's back.
Oh, fuck me, boys. Fuck me. It's really short. Next week's absolute cracker. I actually think it's
a round of pick'ems.
It's a round of pick'ems. It's absolutely cracker next week. Roosters are back for you.
This is a great round. Just like real quick, this is a really good round.
I know. It's incredible. This is my favorite.
The spoon bowl, Dogs, Roosters.
This, you already know.
Pick'em. Get around. Manly underdogs to fuck me dead, folks. Wake up.
You know what's going to happen to that game.
All right, this round, my 3 key takeaways.
Nice.
Broncos, you guys are a fucking disgrace.
Great.
Second to that,
Ditto.
Knights, you guys are a fucking disgrace.
I like Knights.
And third to that, I can't believe a club is obligated to pay Jason Riles for another week.
Okay, I'm gonna ditto the first one. Just add in, suck my cock, Brisbane, for not putting Ezra Man in the team. If it's truly because it's women in league round, you cunts deserve to lose. So suck a dick. Raiders, you cunts aren't that good. It's fascinating. I know. I said it from day one. You cunts are not that good. And finally, the league's fucking over. Just fucking wrap it up. Engrave the trophy early. Melbourne Storm will be your premiers in 2025.
Peace out to the Back Yourself crew. Want to hear you guys in the comments as always. Love chatting to you boys. And we'll catch you 48 hours from now for the round 11 preview. Will we get another 100-point comeback every 2 minutes? We will see.
Yeah.
Peace out.
Peace.